So if you're very, very sure in a particular case that this is very essential to the case and a major point, then you can use a small rubric based on Boja, Fatak. Whereas if it's just there, you use the Bonninghausen of the big thing.
So, so you've used this also in Tanzania?
Yes, I use it in Tanzania all the time. And in fact, because what I'm doing in Tanzania is I'm looking for the genus epidemicus according to classical homeopathy. And because of the nature of the cases there, because you're looking at a very big totality, I'm using this often in rubrics like, for instance, money, because money is an issue that is very, very connected to HIV/AIDS. So it's, it features in many of the cases, so I just use that a lot.
Because you have to do with epidemics? Or?
Both because I'm working with epidemics. So epidemics is a big totality, so it's suitable for very big representative rubrics rather than going to some small, strange, rare, and peculiar. And I want to include all possible remedies. And the other thing is that the nature of the cases in Africa is not well defined mentally and emotionally. They're not going to say to you all this Western stuff, blah, 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 blah. It's just a simple thing. I have low self-esteem, failure, just simple. I love music. It's simple concepts, so it fits very well for there too.
How do you approach cases there? Is that different from here in the West? Or?
First of all, I'm working only with classical homeopathy there. I take the full case and I look for the remedy for each person. But I'm also working on the genus epidemicus. I'm slowly collecting all the symptoms of the disease to put it together as if one person. Just as Hahnemann describes in paragraph 102, which explains how to put all the symptoms of the epidemic together and find the genus epidemicus. So I'm working on that very much. So I take each individual case and I'm looking for the remedy, but I'm also more and more using the rubrics that I've found to be going through the whole epidemic in order to find it. So I'm slowly building up a picture. But we work very, very classically. We try to understand every case, and we prescribe individual remedies for each person as we're building up this epidemic picture, really. Yeah, and we see great results. Classical homeopathy works fantastically in all these HIV/AIDS cases. There's hardly a case that fails to see fantastic improvement. In a week you see a total change.
And for example, you mentioned HIV cases. What type of remedies you need to use? You need to start with small acute remedies?
No, we're usually starting with chronic deep remedies. This is a chronic disease. It's not really acute disease. Although it's an epidemic, it's more chronic epidemic than an acute epidemic. And, we find ourselves using psoric and tubercular remedies, deeper remedies for a deeper kind of disease. Yeah.
And when it's very advanced, because I heard here when you treat advanced AIDS cases, you need, for example, sometimes very small diarrhea remedies or
We haven't found that. We're not working that way so much. We see cases in all stages, and we generally, you find the right remedy for the person, and it does the job, it does the trick. Yeah.
And average, so how many remedies you use?
On average, I'd say, we on between 100 remedies or something like that on average, but then you see a peak of remedies that we use more. So, you'll see a remedy like zinc that we use a lot of times, and, more than other remedies like sepia, which we don't see so much. And gradually we're building up the picture to see which are the most suitable remedies and which remedies have worked more often in order to come eventually to a genus epidemicus of a group of 10, 15, 7, I don't know how many it will be, remedies that fit the epidemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you take the total case and you prescribe on, so can I say on the totality of the most characteristic symptoms?
Yes, we prescribe just like you would prescribe in the West in a classical way. We take the total case, but gradually as we build up the picture of the epidemic, we use those the symptoms that are more characteristic for the epidemic, we put more emphasis on them. And that's, going according to Hahnemann's description and Kent's description of how to prescribe epidemically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you combine robots from your mental qualities repertory with synthesis, and the synthesis, there are views. Do you prefer a certain view?
I use the full view. Always the full view, because I say I'd rather have more remedies in the end result, and the solution for me is not in the repertory, the solution's in the materia medica. So I'd rather work a bit harder, go through a few more remedies, and not miss out some possibility. So I always prefer more remedies than less.
Okay, so at the end, when you have a repertorization, you study all the remedies.
Exactly, and I'll often come out, maybe the end of my repertorization will be 30 remedies. And I'll just go, yes, down the line, seeing which is appropriate or not for the case. And it's very quick once you get used to it, and if you know some materia medica. If you don't know materia medica, you have to study it with every case you repertorize.
Okay.
But we look deeply into the cases, and what I like there is there's much less mental stuff going on. When you work there for a while, you see how much in the West everybody's energy is up in the head, and it's stuck there, and it's going round and round and round, me, and you have to find your way through this cotton wool fog of mental stuff. Some of it is real, some of it is not real, some of it relates to the case, some of it doesn't, and you lose the basic thing of, what health and disease is in a physical way, in a general way, and stuff like that. And when you work there, it's much more earth, it's much more connected to the ground, and it's actually, after 29 years of working in the West, it's a pleasure to see these nice, straightforward cases. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and the remedies work so well there, so very well, yeah.
And we're looking forward to see some of your material.
Yeah.
Also videotapes and cases?
I'm videotaping, taping the cases, yeah, and I'm recording them, and in time we'll publish them. It'll all be out there.
Okay,
Yeah.
I hope someone soon will invite you to come to the Netherlands.
Okay.
And show
I hope so.
a seminar all based on
That's
your
great.
experience.
And remember, to the homeopaths, we depend on your funds. We've worked through our own savings, and we've given everything to this. The big companies do not give money. There's no money for homeopathy. We've tried everybody. You don't get anything from the funds or everybody. So if you've got a few bucks to donate to the project, it'll go straight to the patients and their treatment.
Okay, I will blend in, how you say it correctly, blend in
Yeah.
the video at the end where they can donate.
Okay.
Or do you have a website?
Yeah,
also?
I have a website, and there's a movie on YouTube that you can watch also, so that would be great.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, René. I appreciate it, and your good work.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for upholding classical homeopathy.